frightening movie for you tonight, kids. This is really going to be scary. I'm not kidding you this time. This movie is called Blood-Sucking Monkeys. And it's really good, so I'm not going to waste any more time. Let's take a look at this movie. It's really going to scare the daylights out of you. What?
Well, there's no movie.
Gee, there's no movie. Got a little problem, kids. The movies, we don't have the movie. Something went wrong. We don't have the film. And it was scary. I promise you it was a real frightening film. Next week, I promise you we'll have a real good one on Monster Chiller Theater. So until then, this is Count Floyd saying good night, sleep tight, and don't let the cows come in.
Hi, everyone. Frankie here. New West Reset. Hello. Welcome back. Thank you very much for shooting in, joining a fella here for another one, another live stream. New West Reset Live, episode 89er. 89 already. Where are we at here? Well, it's Sunday, October the 27th, 2024. Just a little past the mummy's bandage of 5 o'clock. That didn't make any sense. Anyway, just a monster hair past 5 p.m. local time, mountain time here. As always, we're coming at you live from Purdy, Alberta. That's right, Calgary, Alberta, up in Canada land, eh? So how's it going there, eh? And welcome to the Halloween special, the Halloween episode of the show. So, yeah, thank you for joining me here. Beautiful evening. Here's the sun is getting low in the sky. Just about to, it's about to shoot down behind the Canadian Rockies there. So, still quite warm. It's a little windy. We're having what's called a Chinook. You see, it's the warm Pacific Coast winds that blow in. Temperature goes up. So we're sitting at 15 degrees Celsius right now. It's like 60-ish Fahrenheit. It's crazy for this time of year. Normally by now it'd be colder than a witch's elbow. Probably even snow, more than likely. Anyway, lovely day, beautiful blue skies. Just rather windy, not like tornado windy or anything, but windy, wind gusty. Anyway, thank you once again for joining me here on the Halloween edition of the show. Happy Halloween to all you ghosts and goblins and ooh. Anyway, we're just having fun here, and before it gets too off the rails, say hello in the box. Let me know where you're shooting in from. Already got Hippie Shake. He's here, as well as Vaughn in the box as well. Got his grown-up nappy on, so even if he gets scared, he's covered, I guess. Ms. Grandma is here as well. Howdy, SP. Hello. Cecilia here as well. Oogly boogly to you, Cecilia. Hello. Turtles! Hey, Turtles here! Turtles here, everybody. DN in the box as well. Good to see you. Thanks for joining me here. So happy Halloween. Tonight's show is going to be, it's going to be scary, right? As the intro suggested. Blood-curdlingly scary. I'm going to take you on a trip to some of Calgary's most haunted places. We're going to look at a couple of websites, links below, and see what the normies have to say about haunted places in Calgary, and then we'll try to figure out what's the deal with that. Why are they always, I don't know, I always say to my friends all the time, why are all these old buildings, whether it's an old hotel built in, 1882, or some church built in 1906, Why are those places always haunted? But it's never like the strip mall down the street that was built in 1994. You know, let's get the dry cleaners and a convenience store and probably a check cashing payday loan place or a liquor store. Anyway, it's always the ghost of the widow of the guy who built the house, or the ghost of the family who was deleted there by some deranged, sweaty-toothed madman on a dark, stormy night. It's never the ghost of the Finnish drywaller that was in there back in 73 when they built the house and the roof caved in on him. It's never the ghost of the Finnish drywaller. Dougie. Dougie's in there. He's finishing the sheetrock, taping, mud and sand and, prepping it for paint. Next thing you know, roof falls in on him. There he goes. There goes Dougie. No, it's never haunted by the ghost of the drywaller. PCS World, hello, hello. So yeah, we're going to look at some of that stuff. Speaking of links below, BitChute, MeWe, a guy's email. So if you want to send me some spooky photographs, or you got show ideas or what have you, or if you just want to say, hey, how's it going, eh? Links below for a guy's email, as well as over on the spooky Bumble, as always, broadcasting simultaneously. So hello, HooTubes. Hello, Bumble. The green fighting platform. My location map is there as well. You click on that, and it opens up a map with my icon. And you click on the little icon or the little avatar there, and it opens up location. You click a link for the video. It's all the boots on the ground stuff I've done. So that's courtesy of Cousin Vinny. And hey, if you want to send the guy some Halloween treats, PayPal down there as well. So once again, thank you very much for joining me here on this Sunday, October the 27th, the Halloween show. Just about 10 after 5 p.m. here on this, this Sunday fun day. Oh, jeez. Scott, you scared me, man. Scott Pike, howdy, howdy. Gave a guy a heart attack. A heart attack. Shout out to Hippie's son. Hello. Happy early Halloween. I know Halloween's not that big of a thing in the UK, over in Wales. Maybe it is these days. I don't know. It's kind of different over and across the pond, but that's besides the point. Happy early Halloween to you. Don says, took my boy to Fear Fest on Saturday. Turned out to be somebody's house. They turned it into a haunted tunnel that you walk through. Literally that myself, the boys went. Yeah, you had I see. Literally. Yeah, you soiled your trousers, did you? My sister, before she and her hubby and my and their kids moved out of the city here. They've lived in several little small towns south of Calgary. It's just more convenient for them. And they like kind of the small town, semi-rural lifestyle, which I can't blame them for. I mean, I dig that myself. It's just my job. I live and work in the same community, and it's, I'm on the edge of the city here, and it's not really like being in the city. But anyway, before they moved out of town. She and I very frequently used to go to those Fear Fest Halloween things here in Calgary, and they were pretty good. They were pretty good. We always used to have a good time, anyways, because we're just a couple of jackasses, and we both really dig Halloween. So, you know, it's just fun, right? It's just a fun thing, you know. Why not? It's a good time for the kids.
You know what I mean? All right, we're having a good time.
Miss Grandma says, Charles Campbell Hospital. Some say it's haunted. Sometimes stepping inside old buildings, it gives bad vibes. Yeah, I mean, maybe that's it. Maybe that's it right there, Ms. Grandma, is that, you know, the vibes that many of us can pick up on, right? Good vibes, positive vibes, bad vibes, or, you know, something feels a little off, right? The hair on the back of your neck stands up, or you feel like somebody's looking at you. This guy's looking at me. Right? Those bad vibes. And maybe there's bad energy and good energy resonating as residual energy in some of these old buildings, especially the older buildings, really old, that would be sort of what we would call old world buildings. Right? Perhaps at some time in the past, prior to the latest reset, the last reset, you know, there was an interconnectivity between a lot of these old structures, electrical and heating and air exchange and whatnot, you know, steam and all this, right? And there's been evidence found of central boilers under a big building. And then, you know, the steam is sent out, you know, under tunnels and under streets and yada yada to adjoining or adjacent, I should say, buildings in the same neighborhood. And so, you know, one steam boiler in one main building provides the steam to half a dozen or more buildings in the area. Why not the same with electricity? It may be after the reset, and some of these buildings were attempted to be cleaned up and kind of brought back up to their former function. They couldn't be fully reversed engineered. I don't know. I'm just speculating. But maybe some of those residual vibes, right? The good vibes and bad vibes, depending on the function of the building and how it was altered when they, you know, when they monkeyed around with it after. Right, like most people get good vibes from churches or other religious institutions, cathedrals and whatnot. But maybe you get bad vibes from, I don't know, some old weird building that they say, you know, is a castle or an old hotel. But maybe prior to the reset, it was something else. And when it was repurposed, they monkeyed around with it and they tried to fix it up, and now it's giving off bad vibes, right? But I don't know. I'm just saying. So right out of the gate here, I want to say that, hey, if you believe in ghosts or you don't believe in ghosts, that's fine. I'm not here to make fun of anybody or to mock anyone who does or does not believe in ghosts. All right. We're just having a little bit of fun here on the Halloween special. And I'm not going to take things too seriously. Okay. So I don't want anybody. I'm not saying anybody in the box in the chat there is going to get all hurt about it. You know, it's not like you're a bunch of snowflakes. But you know, we each have our own individual experiences, and we each interpret those things in different ways. And some of us may not have experienced what others of us have experienced. You know, the presence of spirits or hauntings or ghosts. Maybe family members have seen ghosts. Maybe we personally have experienced something. So, you know, who's to say? I certainly am not. I'm not what am I, Bill Murray? I'm not a ghostbuster. Cats and dogs living together. Mass hysteria. Now, before I, get ahead of myself here, if you haven't already, please give a guy a spooky thumbs up. You know, it just kind of helps to push me out into the the algorithm a little bit as we make our way to 2,000 subscribers. Whole bunch of new friends and faces around the channel lately, so welcome. Thank you very much for joining the shenanigans. Let's just put it that way, the shenanigans. Thank you to everybody who's also you've already subscribed, you're already shared. Really appreciate that. Whole bunch of people over on the Bumble and the BitChute. So welcome to everybody. Really appreciate that. There he is. There he is. Cousin Vinny says maybe that spooky feeling is the subconscious noticing what we were never noticed until recently. Like, how is this building here? It could be our brain that's been rewired and propagandized, misinterpreting that spooky feeling, right? Like it's given us the willies, but really it's just because we're trying to figure out by looking at one of those old world buildings that doesn't fit the narrative, or maybe in your neighborhood or in the town or city you live in, just sticks out like a sore thumb. There's always at least a few, depending on the size of where you live. That one church you always kind of looked at and went, that looks like it's older, or it looks like it doesn't fit, or whatever the case may be. So yeah, maybe that's it. PCS World says, I think the part of the multiverse, and it's just a different dimension mixing with ours. Well, then there's that too, right? But anyway you look at it, it's a scary idea. Yeah, of course, when I say ghosts, I don't mean, like the white bed sheet, 2 eye holes, type ghosts. I'm talking about what, a lot of people are referring to as, very serious interactions with some kind of force. And they often manifest as apparitions. You can see them. Often you can hear them. They affect their surroundings. And again, I don't know. I've never personally experienced this. I've had people that I know that have told me about some of their experiences. Kim Ray's here. Hello, hello. Yes. Yeah, the fire hall. Yeah, from the thumbnail over in Inglewood. That's part of the Inglewood Haunted Tour. It's funny. I lived in Inglewood for, I don't know, almost 10 years or something like that. 7 to 10 years. And I never bothered going on one of those haunted tours, right? Again, not because I'm not open to the idea that there's spirits, or maybe it's some kind of other dimensional being, or maybe it's some kind of demonic, what we would refer to as a demonic presence that's trying to fool us, trying to have us let our guard down. Is it some kind of spirit of a past occupant or resident of that building, or a past and deceased loved one? I don't know. I don't know. But again, I'm not making fun of anybody here or anything like that. We're just having a good time, and we're just but we're going to make fun at the narrative, of course, as always. We're going to have a spooky good time. We like a good scare up here in Canada.
If you go to Canada, the Canadians didn't have one great big eye up here in the center of their head. And everywhere you went, that big eye would be following you around. And that's kind of scary feeling,
That doesn't make sense.
SP, holy smokes, hello neighbor then. Says you're in Calgary, right? I live in the Beltline area. Yeah, I live in, well, just, I guess, technically of the Beltline, west of 14th Street. I'm in Sunny Sunalta. Wow, howdy neighbor. Tell you what, I'm gonna lean my head out the window and yell out the window right now, and you tell me if you can hear me, SP. Hey! Let's do the Halloween show over here. Anything? I don't know. Yeah, kind of. You know, hey, it's what's the saying? It's a small world. That's pretty nutty, actually. But you know, there's a few locals or locals-ish. Kimray lives in the area-ish, and cousin Vinny, of course, my buddy Vinny, he's lives here in the city as well. So yeah, I mean that's great. It's cool. PCS World says, yeah, I heard. Oh. PCS World says, I've never been to Canada. Is that what you look like? Yeah, well.
If you go to Canada, the Canadians didn't have a one great big eye up here in the center of their head. And everywhere you went, that big eye would be following you around. And that's kind of scary feeling, you know.
No, we look exactly like how we're animated on South Park. Okay, buddy? Yeah, I mean, that's, you know, Ms. Grandma as well is, you know, an Albertan, right? So I know, yikes, right? Well, it's spooky. Spooky. Oh, oh, that's scary. Scary. Who the F was that? Asked Kathy. That is a now dearly departed bluesman, guitarist, and singer by the name of Mr. Johnny Shines. Johnny Shines. He used to play and hobo around with a Mr. Robert Johnson. They became pals in the 30s during the Great Depression, and they hoboed around and caught freight trains and hitchhiked around all over the South, East, and Northeastern United States, and even up into Canada land here. Toronto and Montreal, if I'm not mistaken. Probably. But anyway. He's telling stories about what he heard as a kid growing up in Mississippi. And the older folks there in Mississippi used to tell him when he was a little kid that if you go up to Canada, that the Canadians were basically a cyclops. One big eye in the middle of their forehead. And everywhere you go, that one big eye would be following you around. Kathy says, Vaughn, you're the only one that doesn't live close to all of us. Vaughn's, he's down under. He's down under. Well, could you imagine? How fantastic would that be? That's why a lot of people that, you know, have a channel, they do meetups, right? Campbell from Autodidactic, he's had many, many meetups. I mean, these guys, they're bigger channels, so they've been around a lot longer than me, but Campbell, drawing a blank. You know, Flat Earth British. You know, fellow Welshman over there. Help me out, hippie. I'm drawing a blank. Anyway. Yeah, meetups. You know, that would be great. I mean, I've had a couple of meetups, you know, met a few folks, but I'm just a little fella. I mean, in, you know, Calgary, Alberta is pretty small drop in the bucket compared to, you know, larger areas, right? Martin, thank you. Martin Liedke, how could I fatten Martin Liedke? I tend to miss Martin's shows, though, because I usually have to work on a Saturday. I miss the live shows, that is. Sirens in the background. Wouldn't be a New West Reset live stream without some sirens, I guess. Oh, you've been to 3 of them. Well, I guess if you, I mean, you know, both live in Wales, then that's pretty good, right? It's easier-ish. Because no offense, you know, Wales is pretty tiny. You know, no offense, but all of England is pretty tiny. Great Britain? Great Britain. You know what I mean. The big island up there. But that's because, you know, up here in Canada land, it's pretty huge. You know, I'm not bragging or anything. But anyways, I'm getting off track here. So as a reminder, thank you once again for joining me here. Frankie, New West Reset Live. The Halloween special. So happy Halloween to you. Right quick here, bud. We're going to get into some of the shenanigans of the haunted stuff. Then we'll take a mid-show break. As per usual, give you a sneak peek at your upcoming midweek Wednesday vintage footage. This one's going to be Halloween themed, of course. It's spooky. It's chilling. And then when we come back, maybe we'll drop the guy down. We'll use the goggle machine on the goggle maps. We'll drop the guy down and have a look at. I'm pretty sure most of these places are still there. I think there's only. No, I think they're all. Depending on what list, I've got a couple of links, but depending on what list, I think most are still there. So we can go down and we can look at the street maps, kind of a thing, and see, you know, what's the deal, what's happening. Vaughn says once he finds the portal, then, you know, we can all go and see him, or he can come over here. If only it were that simple. You know, what we could do is we could all just pitch in and get some airship going. You know, just take a luxurious, smooth cruise across the water. See what I'm saying? Chatsy Nix is here. Hello, hello. Miss Grandma says, "Oui, je suis d'Alberta, Carlis tabarnak." That's there's I was going to say that's very Quebecer, Montrealer, in fact, but there's a lot of French in central Alberta. So a lot of these little towns have these little French names. You'd think maybe that would be in Ontario or Quebec or New Brunswick or something, but nope. Way out in the prairies. Got these towns with French names. Right? Just like that Tragically Hip song, right? With the line. They mostly came from towns with long French names. And of course, there's a schwack of towns here in southern and central Alberta that have the Ukrainian names. You know, because depending on who settled the area, right? Who's going to fly it? Oh, I'm sure there's somebody in this wacky community of ours that's got a pilot's license. In fact, I can guarantee it. Lock it, put it in your pocket, and you can take that straight to the bank. For sure. 48 packets of balloons in a laundry basket. Done. There you go. An electric fan to blow you across the water. Hands across the water. Water. How fun would that be? All right. Let's get this goofy stuff going here.
Happy, happy Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Happy, happy Halloween to Bergeron. Happy, happy Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Happy, happy Halloween to Bergeron.
It's almost time, kids. The clock is ticking. Be in front of your TV sets for the horror-thon. And remember the big giveaway at 9. Don't miss it. And don't forget to wear your masks. The clock is ticking. It's almost time.
Happy, happy Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Happy, happy Halloween to Bergeron.
See? Close enough. Kathy says I've taken flying lessons before, but no pilot's license. And the license just, you know what these licenses are, right? We who've decreed ourselves calling the shots around here do hereby give you this piece of paper that says that we're letting you do this stuff. I'm like, gee, thanks. Appreciate it. You know, like when you get your driver's license, same thing. We who have decided that we're calling the shots around here do hereby give you this thing with your picture on it. It says you can operate a motor vehicle of a certain classification. So here you go. Gee, thanks. Even though my dad taught me when I was 12, but appreciate it. But yeah, you know. Yeah, was that a thing? I heard that was real, and then I heard that it was a hoax or that it was staged, and then I heard no, that was a thing. That was a real thing. But I do remember seeing or something about that. In this day and age, he's lucky a couple of jets didn't shoot him out of the sky. See what I'm saying? Miss Grandma says, not gonna lie, mine are grown and gone, but I used to sneak in their room at night and steal their coffee crisps and Wonder Bars. These are candy bars, chocolate candy bars up in Canada land. If you have not tried the coffee crisp, you're missing out. You don't even know what you're missing. You have no idea what you are missing. It's the most fantastical chocolate bar. Does it taste like coffee? Yeah, kind of, sort of. But it's delicious. See, I was like a hoarder with my candy as a child. Since how you asked me so nicely to share my stupid Halloween stories from my childhood. I would hoard my candy. I'd save it, right? I would have a little bit here, a little bit there. I wouldn't gorge myself, right? I wouldn't go bonkers with it. Plus, my parents were, I wouldn't say strict, but, they didn't go nuts, right? So we didn't get little pieces of Halloween candy in our lunch to go take to school, for the next week or whatever. No, none of that. We were monitored with our consumption. But my sister would sneak. My brother, he would kind of, sneak a little bit too, but my sister would gorge and sneak hers when she wasn't supposed to be having any, so she'd run out way before me. And then she would be begging me and bribing me and everything. And my brother begging and bribing him to try to get some of our candy because hers was gone. And I'd make mine last. Man, mine would last until like a month. I was a weird kid. It's a weird kid. Do they have a vegan version? Well, it's Canada, so they probably do. Because, we got to be, got to cover all the bases so that you don't get canceled. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it doesn't have meat in it. So, I mean, I guess it might have dairy in it. It's made with milk chocolate. But Hippie says, not heard of coffee crisp before. Mind you, UK crisps are potato. Well, yeah. Well, it's a crisp, not crisps. Crisp meaning it's one of those wafer cookies. Like it's like a wafer. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like those Vortman wafer layered where it's wafery. You know what I'm saying? But the filling in between the wafers, rather than being vanilla or chocolate or strawberry or whatever, right, is this chocolatey, sweet coffee-ish filling, and then it's, the milk chocolate coating over the whole thing. I can't even begin. But yeah, crisps. Yeah, we call them chips, but you call French fries chips, and we call French fries or fries. Just give me some fries. But I'm sure if I went to England or Wales or Scotland or Ireland and said, walked into a place and said, you got any fries? They'd be like, we fry all kinds of stuff, buddy. And you got to be more specific around here, bud. Like, what do you want? Fried fish, fried broccoli? We'll fry anything. Fried potato, is that what you mean? Yes. Yeah, we have those. Then you like to put malt vinegar on them, which makes a Canadian guy scratch his head. Then he says, Frankie, you're going to make me raid the candy bag right now. There might be coffee crisps in there. They're delicious. I mean, I don't eat a lot of junk food per se, you know, sweets, and candies and stuff, but everybody has their favorites. See what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah. French fries are French fries. Chips are potato chips. Yeah. That's right. But across the pond, chips are crisps. And don't even get me started on biscuits. Oh, man. Because you talk about biscuits and gravy over here, and people go, But over there in the UK, you talk about biscuits and gravy. They say, you put gravy on biscuits? Because cookies are biscuits over there, you see. So they think we're putting some nice turkey gravy on cookies, Oreo cookies, I don't know. Chips Ahoy cookies, right? But we're talking about some delicious oven piping hot buttermilk biscuits. So yeah, there you go. Yeah, salt and malt vinegar. Yeah. My nan used to do that. I tried it. I'm not gonna lie, it's not bad, but you know, we're Canada, so we got to put ketchup on everything. If we're not putting maple syrup on it, we're putting ketchup on it. Speaking of crisps / chips, we invented and have, and is a top selling flavor of crisp or chip, ketchup flavor. That's right, I said it, and they're delicious. Yeah, chocolate syrup on a cookie, sure, and gravy on a biscuit. But yes, say in the UK, biscuits are sweet cookies. Yes, so you wouldn't put gravy over there. If you said, "Give me some biscuits with gravy," whoever your waiting staff is would probably politely ask you to leave the premises. You know what I'm saying? Or they'd get security to give you a tap on the shoulder. I say, Governor, perhaps it's time you take a little walk up on High Street and have yourselves a pleasant evening. Good day. I said good day. And out you go. Anyway, let's quit goofing around here and get on with this stuff. Again, links in the description. The first thing we're going to look at here is, well, it's from one of the local newspapers. It's the Calgary Herald Online. Want to read something really scary, kids? Calgary's most haunted places. The best and scariest ghost stories of Calgary can be entertaining and or terrifying. Anyway, this is from October of last year? That's fine. I'm sure like 16 new haunted old world houses haven't popped up in the last year or so. But anyways, with that spookiest time of year almost here, it seemed fitting to again dust off a few of our favorite ghost stories. The ghostly tales that float around Calgary range from fun to frightening. How can a ghost story, like if it's a legit ghost, what we would all call a ghost, right? A spirit from the afterlife coming and just being like, yeah, I'm just gonna hang out in your bedroom while you're trying to sleep. That's not fun. But it is frightening. Anyway, an eerie blood stain changes size in the attic of a 116-year-old house. Let me read that again because I stumbled over it for some reason. An eerie bloodstain changes size in the attic of a 116-year-old house. Yeah, that's not fun. That's frightening. A young boy cries for help near the bridge where he was brutally deleted more than 7 decades ago. Again, not, I mean, you let me know in the box what you think, but to me, not sounding fun, mostly sounding frightening. But anyway, we'll continue here. A disconnected phone mysteriously rings in a heritage home. The laughter of children drifts across the prairie where a schoolhouse fire once claimed their lives. Oh.
What?
I'm sorry, Calgary Herald, but none of this sounds fun. I don't have ad blocker. I should invest in that. Anyway. Well, some of these stories may lean towards fiction. Thank goodness for that. Others are rooted in the lives of Calgarians whose time on Earth was tragically cut short. For fact or fiction, you decide. Well, we're not the reporters for a newspaper here, Calgary Herald. Okay? You give us facts. Don't give us fiction. Give us facts. Then we can decide. Anyway, but either way, these ghost stories provide some interesting reading with Halloween approaching. So right off the bat, the Dean House. Been there. We've done boots on the ground videos there. You can find that location on my location map. Link below. Yeah, PCS world right out of the gates. All right, when was the fire? Like, boom. It's pretty much always the first question, right? Ketchup on eggs? Yeah, I'll do that. Scrambled or omelet, but not fried. It's weird. Yeah, scrambled eggs. Yeah, or an omelet, right? Maybe an omelet. Anyway, one of Calgary's top restaurants in Inglewood occupies the Dean House. The house, originally built for the superintendent of Fort Calgary, that's the Northwest Mounted Police Fort, supposedly, became a rooming house in the dirty 30s and gained a history marred by violence. In 1971, a deletion and go to sleep forever. I'm sorry that I have to do this, but who tubes? Anyway, a married couple occurred in the home. In years since, the ghost of a man with a fondness for pipes has reportedly been seen here. What kind of pipe? Are these the smoking tobacco pipes or the bag variety? Fort Calgary was supposedly founded by a Scottish guy. So could you maybe tell us? No, okay. As the apparition of an indigenous man. Oh, so it's not just white people ghosts. It's also Indigenous First Nations Indian ghosts. But don't they have a slightly different belief system? So how would we get their ghosts? Wouldn't their ghosts be busy doing their cultural afterlife stuff? Anyways. Other unexplained phenomena include the smell of cigar smoke. Okay, well, there we go. Hanging in the air when no one is smoking, and a disconnected telephone that will occasionally ring. Why do you just keep the phone, though? Like, just take the phone, and if you get rid of the phone, whether it's connected or not, then the weird ringing that ain't supposed to happen ain't going to bother you anymore. You know what I'm saying? It's like building your house next to the airport and then getting mad that the planes are keeping you up all night. So you stand on the roof of your home. Roof? Stand at the roof of your home, shaking your fist at the airplanes flying overhead. Well, you built it there, bub. Unplug the phone, put it in a box, and donate it to a church bazaar. Anyway, most frightening, however, is the bloodstain in the attic that reportedly changes in color and size. Bloodstain is near a closet that won't stay locked. Staff members say they will lock the closet door, but return to find it mysteriously open. Well, could it be if multiple staff members have access to said lock? Some people are just, you know how people are, your coworkers. A lot of times they're supposed to do something. They know they're supposed to do it. They either choose not to do it or they forget to do it, like locking doors or whatever, washing their hands. I don't know. Anyway, objects placed inside the closet will later be found strewn about, even though no one has supposedly been in the room. Okay. More than 3 decades ago, the Calgary Herald reported that a psychic toured the house and described the experience as terrifying. Not fun and terrifying? Anyway, as I walked through the front room, it felt like I was walking on jello. So a little bit of product placement there for the fruit-flavored gelatin company. Then I actually witnessed the deletion, the psychic said. Right before my eyes, I saw a man chasing a woman with an axe. Then he played tag with her until she just couldn't play anymore. Then there's a clipping of the, okay. So that's, so far, none of this is sounding fun at all. Just, just saying. Just saying. Vaughn says, remember that? Remember when that was a thing, Frankie? People complaining about flight paths? Yeah. No, the airport, the planes are flying away. Well, yeah, because they add more and more flights and they make the airport bigger and bigger. So, if you bought a house that was underneath, flight paths in the 1980s, and now here we are 40 some years later, I think it would get better or worse. Gee, why do all the houses in this general oval-shaped area of the city tend to be 20 to 30% cheaper than, I don't know. Anyway, the Zoo Bridge. Oh, this is the area where 6-year-old Dominic Goss was deleted and assaulted by a, quote, mad killer in July of 1946. Okay, this is kind of gruesome. It is the most fiendish, cold-blooded deletion in the city's history. City Police Inspector Malcolm Boyd told the Herald at the time. Donnie had been on St. George's Island with his brother. That's where the zoo is, by the way. He went to play baseball with Donnie. Stayed on a set of swings and ultimately met the man who did him away. Donnie was poked with something that goes in your skin like a blade at least 9 times. Played tag with and had a snuggle. Donald Sherman Stanley, a 29-year-old war veteran, confessed to the deletion and that of a Vancouver boy in a separate incident. He was convicted and set to dangle December 1946. So far, none of these are fun. Over the years, strange events have been reported in the area where Donnie was deleted. Some passersby have heard a boy's voice crying for help. Decades past, security staff at the Calgary Zoo said they used to hear a small knock at their door, only to find no one there. They believe their visitor to be the young boy's spirit. So one security guard took a child's ball, and he would often toss it outside for Donnie. Whenever he did so, the ball would mysteriously reappear at the security entrance sometime during the night. That could be some jogger finding the ball and just saying, just tossing it. I almost tripped on this ball on the jogging path or on the sidewalk of the bridge because it's along the river. They have paved pathways where you can jog, ride your bike. Here, obviously, they're doing some work, so they've got it fenced off, but you can even go on shore, do some fishing. Maybe you catch yourself some trout. I don't know. But yeah, that just sounds terrible. Yeah, thanks, Scott Pike. Not fun yet. No, not yet. The Rouge Restaurant. Yeah, we also had a look at that in our Inglewood, speaking of meetups and all that. or Inglewood Mudflood Walkabout meetup. This restaurant in the old A.E. Cross House not only serves up some of the finest food in the city, but also offers up myriad ghostly encounters for many who have worked there over the years. Mysterious falling pots, moving chairs, slamming doors aren't uncommon. While some people have seen the apparition of a woman in white floating down the stairs toward them or heard strange laughter coming from the basement. Well, rattling dishes and pots and pans, I mean, there is a 4-lane road that goes right by here. It's pretty heavily traffic area, but okay. The ghostly woman in white, though, okay. It's a little tougher to explain. Some believe spirits of the Cross family still float around the place. A.E. Cross was a politician, brewer, rancher, along with being one of the original Big Four businessmen who financed the first Calgary Stampede. Is there anything that A.E. Cross didn't do? But disaster struck his family when the 3 children he had with his wife, Helen, were struck with diphtheria. 2 went to the eternal sleep while waiting for medicine to arrive on a train from the east. That's not, yeesh, that's not sounding good. This one's got a very unfun sounding name, the Devil's Playground. There's nothing creepier than hearing the sound of children laughing and playing when there are absolutely no kids around you. Well, what if they're in the playground a block away? You would still hear them laughing and playing. Now, if it's at night and you're in a non-residential area, okay. This is like horror movies of bamboozled us into this whole, children's laughter is creepy. In certain contexts, it can be made creepy, I guess, sure, but I don't know. There's a playground and park 2 blocks south of me. There's another one that is 3 blocks east of me. And there's even a soccer pitch or a soccer field with 3 soccer pitches on it across the river, like 500 yards away. And in the summer, on a nice day, window open, I can hear the referee's whistle blowing soccer game. And I can hear all the kids laughing and playing. Anyway, that's what supposedly occurred over the years in the 8100 block of 9th Avenue Northeast. A schoolhouse once stood there. However, urban legend says a tragic fire. Oh, there it is. There answers your question. There's the fire. Occurred decades ago, razing the building and taking the lives of at least 3 children. Details surrounding the story are murky. Well, that adds to the spookiness, don't you know? That was even the conclusion of a local film crew that investigated the incident. The shouts and laughter of children, however, can still occasionally be heard across the eerie, empty field where the school once stood. According to visitors and work crews in the area, new retail development has now occurred nearby. Well, as the city sprawls out and keeps expanding. Pretty soon there'll be a Walmart there and a Tim Hortons Donuts. And a bunch of condos. The Knox United Church. Oh, we've looked at this on the channel too. This 112-year-old church building at the corner of 4th Street and 6th Avenue Southwest provides an enduring example of Gothic revival architecture. It gives a stately nod to Calgary's past in the midst of the city's concrete and steel downtown, and it's become known for welcoming people from diverse communities. Terrific. It seems a number of ghosts feel welcome there too. Not surprisingly, most of the apparitions hanging around this house of worship are friendly and can be seen praying. Okay, thank goodness. Or knitting or walking about. A lady in pink, for example, has been seen walking through walls. One of the strangest ghostly reports comes from an organist who felt her wrist being slapped despite the fact that no one was near her. Gonna maybe dip it a little bit too much into the sacrament there, Mrs. Organ Player Lady? No, it's not Jello mold with cabbage and broccoli. Ooh. I'm not a fan of Jello mold things. I don't mind Jello, but those gelatin things that they make, I don't know, they put soup stock in and shrimps in it or something, and then like, yeah, pieces of vegetable. Like, no, it's supposed to taste like cherries or lime. If walls could talk, oh, here we go. This is the one that Kimray was talking about, the Hose and Hound. It's now a pub. This building at 1030 9th Avenue Southeast in Inglewood. Yeah, that was also on the Walkabout Mudflood tour. Tells dozens of tales. Before becoming a popular pub, the building was a fire station and is now reputedly haunted by ghosts of a different kind. Here we go. Brace yourself. If you were there for the opening, this is now going to all come. It's like a circle. It's all going to come back around again, you see. The first is the ghost of a monkey that belonged to the city's first fire chief, Cappy Smart. Yes, the first official full-time fire brigade, fire department's chief, not the volunteer, the early fledgling stuff now. This is like the legit fire brigade. The first chief was named Cappy Smart. And I guess he had a pet monkey. The monkey was put down after attacking a child. Was it that kid by the bridge? Because that's only a couple of blocks away. But its spirit never left the building. In more recent years, the monkey's ghost has been blamed for throwing cans off shelves, starting the dishwasher, and playing with the pub's billiard balls. It's not going after any kids because there's still a school like a block away. The other ghostly presence here is linked to one of Cappy's, Cappy Smart's horses named Lightning, which died. There's another one, died in a fire. Wait a second. Are you telling me that the fire chief had a horse named Lightning and said fire chief's horse died in a fire?
You sure about that?
Okay. All right. Pub staff members have said you can sometimes hear Lightning's hoofs. Hooves. I believe it's hooves, not hoofs. But anyway, hitting the pavement outside the restaurant. That's weird because when that fire station was first built, I don't think there was pavement out front. There was dirt road and a wooden sidewalk, or maybe no sidewalk. Anyway, going back a bit further, Calgary fire captain, the captain now, William Ritchie, was with the department from 1911 to 1951. Okay, this guy was around them for 40 years. He said that firemen at this hall, which was fire hall or fire station number 3, along with firemen at hall number 6, could hear the sounds of phantom horses, often just before the alarm would ring for a fire. It's kind of spooky. Did the monkey start the fire? Asks PCS World. Scott Pikes has shocked the monkey. Hey, monkey! I'm not a good singer, and that's obviously a terrible Peter Gabriel impression. The Prince House. No list of Calgary haunted houses is complete without mention of the Prince House at Heritage Park. Yes, we've also looked at this house, inside and out, and and the rest of the park here on the channel. Cousin Vinny and I have actually taken a couple of trips to Heritage Park. If you're in Calgary and you either have never been to Heritage Park because you're a local, or Southern Albertan, within an hour or two's drive, let's say, of Calgary, and you're like, Heritage Park, who cares? No, trust me, it's fantastic. It's great. I mean, you got to go with your glasses on, you know what I'm saying? Because they bombard you with all of the local his story and the official narratives and so on and so forth. But if you go there with the blinders taken off and the smoky veil lifted, it's actually fascinating, and you can criticize and scrutinize a little bit, but still have a good time and check stuff out. And it's set up like a 1900-ish prairie town. Old buildings that, rather than being torn down, they moved to Heritage Park, and this is one of them. Peter Anthony Prince built and managed the Eau Claire sawmill in Calgary. Yeah, I went to check that out, but they've moved the sawmill. So there's no sense doing boots on the ground on a building that I know has been moved. This one, they say it was moved to the park, but I don't know. Maybe it was already there and they built the park around it to explain it being there. You know what I'm saying? But while he was successful in business, he experienced much loss when it came to love. His first wife, Margaret, passed of diabetes. She had a case of the sugars. Second wife, Emma, passed of the TB. She had the consumption. And his third wife, wow, this guy's rolling through him. His third wife, Rosa, suffered from the big C. Jeez. Or is this guy just bumping? Is this rich guy taking out insurance on his wives and then bumping them off? Back then you could poison people, right? Like around 1900, you could poison people very easily. Different poisons make it look like different stuff happen. If you know if somebody already has some kind of affliction, like, a case of the sugars or a bad ticker or something, you could just encourage that with a little bit of slipping something in their tea, because you can get it from the local pharmacist or chemist. A lot of these poisons back then were used for medicinal purposes in small doses or cleaning agents around the house. Hell, the stuff my grandma and great-grandma used to use to clean the house, now you can't even get it because it's like, that's poison, that'll kill you. My grandma used to wash the toilet with it, all right? Take it easy, it's fine. I'm not going to drink it. Anyway, staff and visitors at the park have reported many strange occurrences in the home, including female apparitions in windows and bright lights shining out of the windows of the third floor where there is no electricity. Well, Cousin Vinny and I were here. We didn't see anything weird. Maybe he was doing some kind of weirdo stuff with his wives. I don't know. Yeah, Heritage Park is great, I think. I mean, there's a lot of shenanigans, of course, but security guards have also told unusual tales, including the fact that years ago, one guard dog always pulled his owner to the far side of the street every time they did a night patrol past the house. Dog didn't want to walk in front of the house. See, getting back to horses, you got to trust the animals. Horses, and dogs, and cats, and I don't know, groundhogs and gophers and hedgehogs. I don't know. I think they're more in tune, right? They're still not so much removed from nature as we are, right? They're more symbiotic still, even if they're domesticated. So you got to I trust a dog or a horse that shies away from something, or the dog suddenly perks up and looks out the window at night. You got the blinds or the drapes are open, but it's night. It's dark out, and the dog all of a sudden, looks out the window and starts growling. Yeah. Trust that dog. Trust that horse. Other Heritage Park buildings worth a spooky mention, the park's lousy with them, I guess, include the Thorpe House, Airdrie House, that's where my mama and daddy live. Anyway, and Canmore Opera House, where a young man with long hair dressed in turn-of-the-century clothing has reportedly been seen. With such a full slate of spirits floating about, it's no surprise Heritage Park's annual Halloween events and ghostly celebrations prove popular each year. There you go. That's why they are seeing spooky stuff in 3 to 4 buildings in Heritage Park, is so now they could charge you an extra $40 to take a little haunted tour and Halloween party. Because while Heritage Park is fantastic, it ain't cheap. I mean, it's not that expensive. It's not Disneyland or anything, but it's not, Six Flags. It ain't Dolly World. Many older structures in Calgary have ghostly tales associated with them, including the Stampede Grandstand. This one was new to me until I read this article. I was like, what? Really? The grandstand where people go to watch the rodeo, the Calgary Stampede Rodeo, and the Rangeland Derby chuck wagon races? Are you... Quit pulling a guy's leg. Are you serious? It's crazy, man. It's crazy. The realm is tiny. Except for the land that they don't tell us about, but that's a whole other show. Anyway, when constructed of this 17,000 seat facility was occurring, a worker was killed. To this day, some claim his footsteps can be heard echoing through the empty hallways. When was the grandstand built? Because it's not the original old-timey grandstand. They've rebuilt it since, but I just don't know when. 70s? 80s, 90s? I don't know. So maybe I was making fun earlier. You never hear about a modern one, but that could be one right there. The Elephant Castle Pub on 15th Avenue and 4th Street, Southwest. That's not far from here. Not at all. In fact, I know exactly where it is. It's a corner building, brick. We've looked at it on the channel, actually. We did our 4th Street walkabout. This popular watering hole, previously the Rose and Crown Pub, was once a funeral home. No, I'm thinking of a different place, but we've also looked at this place. Anyway, it was once a funeral home, so a variety of spirits may have passed through its walls over the years. It is the ghost of a young boy who allegedly passed in the house, however, that seems to be most frequently heard or felt. A lot of pubs. The Cat and Fiddle Pub. I've gone to a wake there, so maybe that'll tell you something. There's another crowd pleaser of a pub that's located in a former funeral home and crematorium. What in the hell is going on with turning former funeral homes or crematoriums into public drinking houses, pubs? Yeah, it's fun for kids too. I think it sounds hokey and corny to say it, but damn it, I'm going to say it anyways. It's fun for the whole family. It's interesting if you're into history and you like kind of poking holes and finding chinks in the armor of history. It's interesting and fun that way. But for kids, there's a lot of stuff to do, and it's just great. The staff are very good because they have a lot of things where they sort of reenact stuff. A lot of the people that work there stay in character, kind of sort of ish. They hire people like the guys that, work the trains. They used to work for the railroad, so they know about the trains, that sort of thing. So it's cool. Anyway, the ghosts that hang out here all seem to be friendly. Well, because they're probably 3 sheets to the wind, eh? A perfumed woman in a red dress. Well, hello there, miss. A man in a top hat and tails. Uh-oh, look out for that guy, who frequents the men's room. And the ghost of a biker who once scared a would-be robber from the premises. Huh. Oh, the Palliser Hotel downtown. Yeah, we've looked at this too. Like every good historic Fairmont property, the Palliser in downtown Calgary has attracted a few reports of apparitions, including that of a couple of ghosts who enjoy wandering the halls and taking in the regal atmosphere of the place. Yeah, it is regal. The Lougheed House. Looked at that here too a couple of times on the channel. The ghosts inhabiting this historic sandstone gem include a phantom couple who dance their way across a room. Yes, I guess what would be the ballroom or the formal room in the Lougheed House, which has a glass dome above it. But I can tell you, I lived right next door to the Lougheed House on 13th Ave for a few years, 3 years actually, and I never saw any ghosts. But, I mean, it's not like I sat there staring out the window or anything like that. Wiley's here. Good to see you. Howdy, howdy. Thanks for shooting in. Okay, what else is going on? The Suter House. Yeah, that's in Inglewood too. While doctors currently use this house for office space, it was once a hospital or care home of sorts, where dying individuals with potentially contagious conditions were sent to live their days. Oh, so it was one of those, what do you call them? Like a sanatorium type place. Anyway, it later morphed into a rooming house. Oh, great. So who used to stay in my room that I'm now staying? Well, some guy dying of the TB and coughing all over the walls, but it's fine. Anyway, it's now the story of one young couple who lived there and is often associated with one of the building's ghost stories. The husband, who would often jump into nearby moving rail cars, slipped off a train and passed of his injuries. Sheesh. His distraught wife passed shortly after, and it is her ghost that is believed to still wander the Suter house. This guy, just for a good time, would jump onto nearby train cars, and he fell. Again, not sounding fun. we're having fun now. Oh, wow. The Doll Block. Oh, yeah, that's on Stephen Avenue. Looked at that in a meetup and walkabout mudflood tour as well. This heritage building was constructed in 07 by a jeweler, named Louis Henry Doll. Should have called it the Doll House rather than the Doll Block. Anyway, who specialized in diamonds. But shortly after opening, his 10-year-old daughter passed and he lost his passion for the business. A ghostly female figure has allegedly been seen in the window of the building in years past. Some believe it's the spirit of Doll's daughter. The business was eventually taken over by an apprentice, David Ernest Black, who had studied under Doll and ran into bad luck of his own. Jeez. This could be ghost stories, but they could also be curses. Anyway. In the busy holiday shopping season of 1911, the business was robbed and he became a victim of what was then the biggest diamond heist in the city's history. Oof. That's rough. Is that it? That's the end of that one. All right. So again, that was from the Calgary Herald newspaper online. Fun or frightening? Mostly frightening. Thanks for asking. Mostly frightening. Now, I want to touch on something here. I'm going to share this other link. It's from the Guardian, the Calgary Guardian. There's also, as you would guess, Calgary's most haunted places. Now, they're talking about this Dean house again, okay? It's in Inglewood. Just after you cross the bridge from Fort Calgary and you're headed due east, you cross the bridge into Inglewood. First thing you hit, this beautiful old house, the Dean house. It's lovely. We'll get into this portion of the Dean house just to refresh our memories from the previous article. Then I want to share a couple of photos. It's something that I also discovered about the Dean house, which is kind of weird. But anyways, this is from October 29th of 2020. So, it was updated in 2024. Great. Oh, no, that's today's date. Anyways, that's a live news feed ticker. All right. I'm not very technologically advanced, as you can see. I'm not a savvy tech guy. Are you looking for a fright this Halloween? Maybe. As long as we're not talking about deleted children screaming and stuff. You won't have to look far, as Calgary's home to several haunted places scattered across the city. Here's a deeper look at 15 of the most haunted buildings in the city. Now, we'll skip over the ones that we've already covered, but again, I want to go over this Dean House real quick. So today, the Dean House is one of Calgary's top restaurants, yada, yada. The building was originally the superintendent of Fort Calgary. At some point in the 30s, it became a rooming house, which is where a horrific delete and make myself go to sleep occurred between a married couple. Ever since, reports of a mysterious man smoking pipe. There we go. Clarification. And the apparition of an indigenous man, a Native Indian, have been seen. Why aren't they telling us which nation? Right? Is he Blackfoot? Is he Sioux? Lakota? Anyway. Other strange occurrences include a disconnected telephone that rings. Just get rid of the phone and problem solved. Anyways, unexplained smell of cigars and the blood stain in the attic. This place has got it going on. It's got a little bit of everything. That changes color and size. There's also a closet near the blood stain. Yeah, that won't stay locked. And stuff that they leave is gets scattered around. All right, so there, and this is this Dean house. Now, it's a beautiful house. Excellent restaurant. They have a tea room. They serve proper high tea and the whole bit. It's lovely. The grounds outside, they have their own herb garden and a lot of vegetables that they use in the restaurant in the summer, and they use seasonal stuff. They have a beautiful flower garden. They host events there. It's landscaped. It's beautiful. It's recessed off of 9th Avenue Southeast, the main high street going through Inglewood, which at this point is a 4-lane street. Used to be a 2-lane street. And that's what I want to talk about a little bit real quick with this Dean house. I've got some, just 3 photos I want to share with you, and a quick little story about this Dean house that I discovered a while ago. So let me just get the photographs pulled up here. All right, let me share this with you. Scoodle-a-doo-doo. Boom. So this is the beautiful Dean house. Okay. And here it stands where they say it was originally built, which was for the superintendent of Fort Calgary. Now, there's some of the barracks buildings of the fort. There's a wall that you can't see that's kind of in behind this tree row and behind the house. And behind the barracks, there's a big wall. There's stables, all kinds of other stuff. Not really sure what. Oh, that might just be a tree that's lost its foliage. I was going to say, I'm not sure what that is, but it's weird. But anyways, this is part of the fort. Now, they say the house was originally built here for the superintendent of the Northwest Mounted Police, the Mounties. And then later on, he sold it and they moved it. And it's moved to its present-day location. Now, there's photos. It's documented. This is the same house. This is the Elbow River. I lived in Inglewood. I've been on this riverbank many times. It's still not far from where I live here in Sonalta. It's right in around the Calgary Zoo. It's right around the fort. You can see some of the barracks here in the background. It's a lovely part of Inglewood. It's a lovely part of the city. Now, apparently, this was such a big deal that they built up these temporary platforms, and they put skids. They lifted the home, no basement, and they put skids. And they cable towed it across this that they put across the river. This clown with his little floating thing with his. They brought in lumberjacks from Quebec, apparently. No, I'm kidding. But supposedly they used a steam tractor to move this house. And it was such an engineering marvel that it was featured in Popular Mechanics magazine. And they say, well, there it sits today. It's taken in 1975. So the river you could just see is just out of frame here on the left-hand side of the photo. So they dragged it with a steel cable by a steam tractor on that hinky thing along skids. This is still, obviously, they're still shoring up all of this. I imagine as they moved it along, maybe they would remove some and replace them in the front. I don't know. I haven't read the article. But the thing is on the final photo here that they show from 75. What is this, by the way? A Plymouth? That might be an old Plymouth. That's an old Chevrolet or a Buick. It's a GM. It's a GM of some kind. Anyway. Now, the sidewalk is here, and you can see the street is right here. So this is not where it rests today at all. It's recessed back about 15, 16, 17 feet from the sidewalk and the street. Even if you take into account that, when it was originally put there, the street was narrower and they've widened it. Well, the street is wider still now today than it was in 75. So it's been recessed back even further. But every article, everything that you read about the Dean house is that it was moved from Fort Calgary, and it was moved across the river and plunked down here. But it was actually picked up and moved further back again. So I'm not really sure why they always omit that part of the story. It always seemed very weird to me. The other thing too is that, do the ghosts move with the house? Like I don't know, right? Because the house originally was somewhere else. Here, I'll show you again on the article here. Again, this is from Calgary Guardian. See, it's recessed really. Now they haven't rerouted that road. The road is still on its original spot. They've replaced the bridge with a newer bridge, and they've rerouted the railroad a little bit because they've added additional lines. But they've pushed this house back further. So now the ghosts, did they move across the river too? And then when they push the house back, and the ghosts getting fed up now of chasing the house all around the neighborhood? Because when they picked it up and moved it from its original spot, they had to move it actually all the way across the huge property that is Fort Calgary, which is like 500 yards, even just to get to the river. And then they've got to move it across the river, plunk it down, and then years later, after 1975, I'm not sure when, they've pushed it back again. So the ghost must be like, will you cut it out with the moving of the dang houses all the time? Please. Maybe that's why they're haunting the house, because they're pissed that they keep moving the houses around. You know what? I don't know. That's a great question. PCS World asking, why do people want to be scared? It's fun being scared, but then you're not able to sleep. Well, I mean, maybe it's just one of those things that, it's like the adrenaline junkies, right? What do you jump out of a perfectly good airplane for? You got a parachute, right? But the plane ain't crashing. What are you jumping out of the plane for? That's fun. It's fun to jump out of a plane. Okay. Well, maybe for some people it is. To me, I'm not having a good time. That doesn't sound like fun. I've done the risk assessment, and I don't feel like doing that. Thank you. Realm Dweller over on the Bumble. Howdy. Maybe they accumulate more ghosts with everybody. That could be. They're just scooping them up. It's like a ghost vacuum cleaner, sucking up ghosts as they move it around. Every location, they just take on more ghosts. Well, it was a rooming house at one point. So maybe it's like a rooming house for ghosts now. And they're like, no, we're trying to make it a restaurant and tea room now. And the ghosts are like, no, sorry, rooming house it is. The stupid ghost can't remember where he lives. As Canadian ghosts, I guess we get lost. I don't know.
If you go to Canada, the Canadians didn't have one great big eye up here in the center of their head. And everywhere you went, that big eye would be following you around. And that's kind of scary feeling,
Anyway, Calgary Grandstand. Yeah, we'll skip that one. Although it looks like it's the more recent. Yeah, okay. The Rose and Crown. Yeah, okay. It's a beautiful pub, by the way. Beautiful. But yeah, it used to be a funeral home. Great. Yeah, I'll take a burger with my beer. Thanks. The Lougheed House. Yeah, I used to live in the building right next to it here. I don't remember seeing ghosts. It's a beauty, though. Suter House. Yeah. There's the doll block. And they say they see the ghost in the window. What window? You got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. At least 8 windows just up here, plus the main floor stuff, plus this huge leaded glass transom window. There's the Palliser. What a beaut. Bow Valley Ranch. Okay, here's one. This is a new one. The ranch's history could be traced back to the 1870s with the first European settlers along the Bow River. Today, the area, in particular the ranch house, is home to several reoccurring incidences. It sounds like it's just bad mojo or bad luck more so than like bad stuff happens to these places and then the ghosts come after. It's not like bad stuff is happening because of ghosts. I don't know. So I guess it's a spiritual chicken and egg thing. Anyway, Wayne Makeley, a retired urban park planner and one of the founding members of the Friends of Fish Creek Provincial Park Society, has been present for a variety of these mysterious events. Oh, the one guy's telling us about all this stuff. Okay, that's legit. Anyway, during a guided ghost tour, well, when everybody's heightened senses are heightened looking for ghosts, Wayne explained that motion detectors inside the building will set off alarms. Lights turn on upstairs despite the power being disconnected. Tools have moved overnight during construction projects, and when the ranch house was unoccupied, the police would attempt to use the space for canine training, but were unsuccessful because the dogs would continually bark at something unseen. Oh, okay. Well, no, that's, again, to me, that's something. The dog thing or the horse thing or whatever, the animal thing is something. Wayne also recounted a story about trying to access the ranch house one evening using several different sets of keys from numerous individuals. None of the keys could unlock the door, and the group was unable to enter the house. The next day, each key from every set easily succeeded in opening the locked door. Many people attribute the phenomenon to Charlie Yun, the longtime cook for the ranch. Charlie was deleted in a car accident in 1938 while traveling in China, and his dying wish was to be buried at the Bow Valley Ranch. Although he was ready to rest in China, many assumed that his spirit still resides in the ranch house, that he's responsible for all the paranormal activity. The guy is Chinese, okay? He's Chinese. That's racist! Well, hang on, kid. He's Chinese, goes to China, dies there. He visits China. He's Chinese. He's living here in Calgary. Goes back to China, dies in a car accident there. They bury him there in China, and his ghost comes all the way back to Bow Valley Ranch. Well, there you have it. There you have it. Well, yeah, there's sort of scared and really scared. Yeah. Like if you have some kind of medical emergency or something, right? That's a real scare. But if your roommate or your college buddy or your best friend or your goofy brother or whatever sneaks up behind you and just yells, "A boogie boogie," like that's not really scared. It's just sort of scared. That's not even. It's just a jump scare. It's like kids today with their scary movies. It was so scary. It had 6 jump scares in it. That's not scary. You got to build up and heighten the tension first before you spring it on us. That's what makes it scary. It's shit jumping out at you all the time. It's not scary. You're just being startled. You're being surprised. It's no different than walking in on a surprise birthday party. The Zoo Bridge. Yeah, we heard about that one. The Rouge Restaurant. Did we? Yep. Knox United Church. It's a beauty, by the way. Fire station. Yeah. Hose and Hound. Prince House at the park. The Cat Fiddle. That's that other pub that was also a mortuary. Devil's Playground. Oh, from a different angle. So there are still a couple old. That's kind of spooky. Right, whenever houses are boarded up and abandoned, then all of a sudden they become, ooh, that's a haunted house. Like, when you're a kid trick-or-treating around your neighborhood. Oh, old man Miller's house is abandoned and it's spooky. Oh, it must be haunted. Right? Why do you think some places get designated as being haunted? Like, obviously, there's the, like at Heritage Park, well, we can have tours and pay, people can pay extra to come to these haunted tours of the park. Ooh, isn't it spooky? Right? And again, it's kind of family fun. That's fine. But is it to divert your attention away from certain perspectives of that building? right? Like the old fire hall. Like if you scrutinize it like I do when I did boots on the ground there, you're looking at it in a different way than most normies do. And you're questioning the build time, and according to the population at that time, and the necessity of multiple fire halls in such a small city, yada, yada, yada. But other people look at the building and then it's, oh, well, it's haunted. Oh, well, okay, well, that explains why it's so strange and different looking and it doesn't fit in with, the other buildings. Oh, because it's haunted. That's why. Right? I don't know. Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's a guided tour, right? So it's like, let's look over here. Let's look over there. Oh, no, you can't go there. That's why it's chained off over there and says staff only or whatever, right? Hippie Shake says the Chinese guy did not get his wish, so he's not happy once his body moved. Well, that could be like, in the afterlife, he's pissed off, right? He's like, wait a minute. Like he's dead, right? And his spirit rises from his mortal coil. Right? And the first thing he thinks to himself, oh shit! I'm not at Bow Valley Ranch. So maybe that's what made the ghost angry. But if you go by that, then he should be haunting the people that buried him in China. He's mad at them. So why is he come all the way across the Pacific Ocean from China, all the way to Alberta, in Canada land, to mess around with the people that are at the ranch here? It's just a bunch of cowboys. They're not bothering anybody. Oh, jeez. Anyway, what are we looking at here? Wow, an hour and a half. What do you say we take a mid-show break? Give you a sneak peek at your upcoming midweek. If you're new here to the channel, or as a reminder, every Friday you get a boots on the ground video. It's usually me checking out an old world building here in Calgary, but sometimes a guy will take a road trip, eh? Every Sunday, well, like right now, live show. And every Wednesday, a vintage footage video. I like to grab old-timey video footage and put it to music. And I try to keep it Canadian content, or at least a Canadian connection. But this one, well, this is a Halloween theme. Yeah, Halloween theme. I don't know why I tripped over that word. But anyway, Halloween themed. Now, this one's actually, well, she's a good one. So, A, smoke them if you got them. And 2, put on your ear goggles and turn it up to 11. Because it's nice. It's very nice. It is... let me just cue it up here for you. I think it's about 6 minutes and a bit. Sorry, just shy of 6 minutes. 5.5 minutes. Halloween themed. Check it out. We'll see you on the other side of 5.5. Be right back. All right. Thanks, everyone. Cheers.
When I look out my window, many sights to see. And when I look in my window, so many different people to be, that it's strange, so strange. pick up every stitch. You got to pick up every stitch. You got to pick up every stitch. Must be the season of the witch. Must be the season of the witch, yeah. Must be the season of the witch. When I look over my shoulder, what do you think I see? Summer cat looking over his shoulder at me, and he's strange, sure is strange. You got to pick up every stitch. You got to pick up every stitch, yeah. Beatniks out to make it rich. Oh no, must be the season of the witch. Must be the season of the witch, yeah. Must be the season of the witch. You got to pick up every stitch. The rabbits running in the ditch. Beatniks out to make it rich. Oh no, must be the season of the witch. Must be the season of the witch. Must be the season of the witch. Where'd I go? When I look out my window, what do you think I see? And when I look in my window, so many different people to be. It's strange, sure is strange. You got to pick up every stitch. You got to pick up every stitch. The rabbits running in the ditch. Oh no, must be the season of the witch. Must be the season of the witch, yeah. Must be the season of the witch. Where'd I go?
We really have a frightening movie for you tonight, kids. This is really going to be scary. I'm not kidding you this time. This movie is called blood-sucking monkeys. And it's really good, so I'm not gonna waste any more time. Let's take a look at this movie. It's really gonna scare the daylights out of you.
What?
Oh, there's no movie.
Gee, there's no movie. Got a little problem, kids. The movies, we don't have the movie. Something went wrong. We don't have the film. And it was scary. I promise you it was a real frightening film. Next week, I promise you we'll have a real good one on Monster Chiller Theater. So until then, this is Count Floyd saying good night, sleep tight, and don't let the cows come in.
All right, and we are back. Howdy, everybody. How's it going, eh? Welcome back. Frankie here, New West Reset. New West Reset Live, episode 89, the Halloween special, eh? Looking at Haunted Calgary. Thanks for joining me here. I thought I would just replay the intro in case you missed it. A lot of people are still kind of logging in and whatnot and getting everything organized during the intro. So they may have missed the Halloween intro. But yeah, thank you very much for joining me, everybody. Thanks for shooting in, joining me here on this spooky edition of the show here tonight. A little bit of a early Halloween show. Thanks for joining me. If you haven't already, give a guy a skeletal thumbs up. Thanks for joining me. Thanks to everybody who's already shared and subscribed. If you're new, hey, welcome to the shenanigans. And if you're watching this after the live, after the fact, thank you very much for your support. Appreciate it as always. Speaking of support, links below for a fella's BitChute, MeWe, email, PayPal. My Google location map is on there as well. And of course, we are broadcasting simultaneously on the HooTubes and on the Bumble. So howdy to everybody on YouTube and Rumble. Thanks for joining me. Really appreciate it. Who have we got here? What's going on? Vaughn's here. PCS World is in the box with Ms. Grandma, Kathy Childers. Howdy, howdy. Thanks for joining me, everybody. We got Hippie Shake here. Oh, yes, Donovan. Nancy Ann Settler over on the Rumble. I live in Sunalta. I've lived in Sunalta for 4 years. Yes, it is a beautiful area. I like it. It's fairly quiet-ish. Aside from now that new interchange with Crowchild and Bow Trail and the ambulance likes and fire trucks and police cars and sirened vehicles like to go that route all the time now. So you hear them in the background and the windows open. But yeah, it's an older, historic neighborhood. And, I've kind of poked holes at the narrative here in Calgary quite a bit on the show. But that said, I mean, there's older houses, older buildings, big, beautiful, old, mature trees. So yeah, it's quite nice. So thank you for joining me. Thanks for winding down your weekend here with yours truly on this spooky Sunday fun day. So there was one more link, but I'll leave it in the description, but we don't really have to get into it because I already kind of messed around with it a little bit. It's just talks a little bit more about the Dean House. It's just the subheading on the Wikipedia for Fort Calgary. So if you click on that third link, it'll just take you to the subheading for the Dean House there, and about how they moved it, and it was in the Popular Mechanics magazine and all that in the 1930s or what have you. But I thought what I would do right quick here is we would just open up the Goggle machine and do the Goggle Maps thing a little bit, and maybe just jump down real quick at a couple of these places. kind of poke around. Since we're talking about the Dean House, we might as well start there. I guess. Sure, why not, right? What do you think? So if you be so kind as to let me know in the box if you can see that. Okay, this is Calgary here in southern Alberta in Canada land. So let's see here. Well, yeah, let's go to the Dean House in Inglewood. Might as well, eh? Been talking about it. Might as well go and check it out there, eh? Whoops, I went too far though. It's over here. There we go. There's the Fort Calgary there. Some kind of shenanigans going on here with the former fort. I want to say if there was any place that there would have been a star fort in Calgary at one point, it would be where they built Fort Calgary or in the Glenmore Reservoir where they flooded the reservoir when they dammed it up. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Let's drop the guy down. Check out the Dean House here. Oh, went a little too far. This is a beautiful building, though. Used to get hunting, fishing, and camping equipment in the basement of this building in a place called Frenchie's and Barado's. Oh, you could see they're having a wedding or something here. What is it Lucius Aurelian says? You know for sure it's a legit old world building if you get your wedding photos taken. So you can see how far back it is from the street. Now, as mentioned, this is a newer bridge. You could probably see the older bridge here. Yeah, there you go. So they've added those sound barriers and whatnot, but you can see that the house is not in its original place, but they moved it from way down in this corner here, way down yonder, all the way across here. The fort and the buildings are all in here. Down this slope, the riverbank, built that shenanigans across there, pulled it across with a steam tractor, dropped it, and then later on it was moved again. The Dean House. I mean, it's a beautiful place. But I don't know, man. The ghost just followed it from way over here to way over here, I guess. That's an excellent question. That is an excellent question. Maybe they did. Ah, there you go. Thank you, Hippie. Appreciate it. Oh, Vaughn, come on, man. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, pal. That's very kind of you, sir. Thank you. All right, so what was the other place here that I'm going to have to pull up that list again real quick. Oh, sheesh. Got a good memory. It's just short. The Prince House is in the park, so that's we're not going to be able to do much of a Google map there. The Zoo Bridge is now a newer bridge, so that doesn't count. Oh, yeah, Rouge. That's right, Rouge. That is just over here. Yeah, there it is. Not what I would think of as a haunted house. Like if you close your eyes and you picture in your mind's eye, haunted house. This is not what I picture. I mean, this is a beautiful, quote unquote, Victorian home. But you could see why dishes would rattle and pots and pans would fall with, you know, this is a main thoroughfare that goes over the bridge. In fact, that is the Zoo Bridge, the new Zoo Bridge. So cars and buses are whipping by here. I could see how that, I mean, that's like 6 feet from the side of the place. But be that as it may, it's not what I picture when I picture haunted house. Even the Lougheed house. No, not the Lougheed building. Damn it. Damn you. That's right. I keep forgetting it's now a national and provincial historic site. So, but even this place looking very cartoony on the goggle machine here. But I mean, it doesn't really look like a haunted house. It just looks like an old world estate home, a prairie mansion. But an outstanding home. This supposedly is where the couple is seen dancing through the windows, and you could just see the glass dome, which is original. Well, I mean, when the home was built, it was built with a glass dome. I highly doubt that's still the original glass, but still has a lot of the tech on it as well. This used to be the drive to the coach house that used to be in the back. That coach house is now gone, but all of this park it's now a provincial park, city park, yada yada. But it was all the grounds. There used to be a fountain here. Now it's gone. But I mean, this place is exquisite, and I lived right next door. And I don't ever remember seeing ghostly stuff going on. But yeah, I agree, Kathy. It's a beautiful home. All right, what was it? What else was on the list here? Rouge, the Lougheed house. Let me just type the address in of 8100 Ninth. Let's see if I could put Devil's Playground in the maps. If that'll, I doubt it, but let's see here. Wow, you're kidding me. I guess. Well, you know, you got to attract the ghost hunters. Wait, where'd it go? Oh, there it is. No, where'd it go? Maryland Playground. No, that's not what I want. Goggle. Okay, it's not going to give us that one, I guess. Oh, yes, the Knox United Church. It's hard to see because, you know, it's nestled amongst massive glass and steel foreboding rectangular monstrosities, but this is a lovely old church. It's actually a good point. PCS World asking, has anybody ever see modern day curved glass like that? Yeah, on the dome at the Lougheed house. That's a good point. I mean, I suppose I could go along with you know, a church being haunted, because a lot of these Gothic revival and the yada yada, all these goofy architectural labels they put on these old buildings. I mean, and by the way, there's been some additions put onto this, renovations, but I suppose they could look kind of spooky-ish, even at night, maybe. You know, if it's an older building. Again, it just looks very odd because it's nestled amongst all this new crud, right? So, we're looking eager. Yes, an eagle. Or is that a hawk? I think that might actually be a hawk. Anyway. So I guess, because it's sort of out of context, right? It sticks out amongst these. So I guess, again, because it's unusual, it's odd, it's old, it's weathered, it's made of, a bygone building material, or not bygone, but no longer used building material, that it's like, oh, it's old and spooky, I guess. Oh, geez, we were right in Inglewood. We could have checked out the Hose and Hound. The old fire hall. With the monkey ghost and the horse ghost. Now, the narrative on this is pretty early in Calgary's history. I don't remember the date on it, but somewhere around 05, 07. Again, I'm just spitballing. I don't remember the exact date, but I wonder why it doesn't have a tower. Like a couple of the other old fire stations in Calgary that I've looked at have the tower. Like that there was the bell or the lookout tower to watch out for smoke, and then you ring the bell for the fire. I don't know, but I wonder if this had a tower on it and it was removed, maybe. Curtis in the box. Howdy, howdy, says looks medieval. Yeah, the church. What's that stone construction? Certainly makes it look. And the fact that it looks very weathered. That church, again, the Knox United, makes it look really old, right? It's funny, though, that, they kind of partially block in these arches and then put big windows in them. And now it's a pub or a restaurant or whatever. I've seen real estate offices do this. Like old fire stations could become anything. The old one downtown, the old fire station number 1 downtown that still has its tower. It was a budget rent-a-car joint for years. It's just so funny how, I guess because it's got a historical designation put on it, that they maybe aren't as quick to knock it down because it's got some historical significance, they tell us, right? And also it's haunted. It's got that monkey ghost, so you can't just knock down those old buildings when there's a monkey ghost. You know how rare monkey ghosts are? That's rare. Real rare. The Suter House is close by. So let's look at that too here. It's here in Inglewood, and actually it's just down here. Lost. Did I go too far? No, not far enough. No, I went too far. Oh, here, look at this. While we're at it. This one's not reported to be haunted, but while we're in the neighborhood, that's a beauty. Oh, I didn't go far enough northeast. Oops. Well, yeah, this is that one that has the conical dome roof that kind of morphs into this, what looks like it was sort of like a mansard style roof. And then this one has angled, sort of gabled roof on it. This was, they said, was built in the 1890s. Yeah, that's the Cowboys had all the time in the world to build with all these sophisticated angles like this back then? Wah, wah, wah. Kathy said, sounds like monkey business to me. Yeah, well, that place has a monkey ghost and a horse ghost. So quit fondling the roof. Well, look at it. Just look at it. Will you look at it? I mean, that's pain. That's a pain. Extra work. That's all I'm saying. Extra work. But again, it doesn't really look to me like a haunted house, though. Now, if it was boarded up and run down, okay, maybe, right? But then the neighborhood kids would certainly help to push that narrative, right? Like, ooh, that old place is haunted. You know? Freddy Krueger lives there, or Michael Myers lives there, or whatever. This is a fabulous old Royal Railroad hotel. And this had a lot of wacky ghost stories going on with it, too. Well, we got some low windows here, so look out. We better put a fence and a railing there so dummies coming along the sidewalk don't fall down that whole other level that's down there. They have like a archway walkway tunnel that goes under the main entrance here. And then it continues on this side. And then there's a door. I've done a boots on the ground video on this. You can see the arches here that go into the stairs. There's windows down here, or in some cases, windows and doors. But when you get to the end of this, there's a door that goes under this. This is like a back alley access, a side street. So one wonders where that goes. And apparently, there used to be a tunnel that went from this hotel under the street. It's probably still there. To this building, and this building supposedly had a speakeasy hidden in the basement that this building doesn't look like it has, but it actually does have a basement, and the entrance to the speakeasy is in this restaurant here, and I found that 2 summers ago. And cousin Vinny and I went in there. And I basically just asked him, look, I heard there used to be a speakeasy in the basement of this building. Does this building have a basement? He's just like, yeah. Is there a speakeasy down there? He's like, well, we actually have like a bar down there. So that tunnel went under the street and connected to the hotel. Story goes that politicians and whomever, highfalutin people, during the temperance or prohibition or whatever, well, they would just take the tunnel under here and go to the speakeasy, and nobody's the wiser. PCS World says, telling people it's haunted is just a scare tactic to keep them away because nobody really wants to be scared. Yeah, and the people that do want to be scared, they go on those haunted tours where you can only go and look at certain buildings, or you can only go into certain rooms of certain buildings. The rest of it is off limits. And it diverts your consciousness. You may lock onto this building and go, wow, that's unusual. Like that really sticks out amongst all these other modern buildings. I wonder what the story is behind that. And you look into it, and before you have a chance to go, wait a second, like a city of 25,000 people built this for when the railroad came through, and like what? Back in the early 1900s. So it diverts you away from that. And oh, look, there's ghosts of ladies in white dresses walking the halls in this. Ooh, it's spooky. Oh, ghost stories. Oh, isn't that quaint, right? Yeah, highfalutin, not lowfalutin. The lowfalutin people didn't stay here. No, I'll show you where they stayed. They stayed at the hotel further down 9th Avenue here in what used to be called Brewers Row. Brewers Row, which kind of sounds more fun to me anyways. Now, if you were low fluting, folks, you stayed at you stayed at the King Eddie, the King Edward Hotel. This is where you stayed. Right here. Now we've looked at this boots on the ground as well, and it's great. And then they built this Studio Bell arts music monstrosity, disgusting Borg cube building next to it. Because this old hotel, and this used to be an old blues bar actually, and before that it was just it was always a bar and live music venue ever since the hotel opened. But, you know, this beautiful old brick arch window hotel, and then they just build this fugly, serpent-eyed Borg monster here. So now when people walk by here, they don't even pay attention to this old beauty anymore. They just see this and they go, oh, what's that all about? You know, and people, the modern eye, they look at that, they go, oh, that's an amazing looking building. Look how cool that building is. I think that thing is fugly as hell, man. Fugly as hell. But, hey, what do I know? Let's look at one more here. Let's look at that doll block on Stephen Avenue. See what that's all about. This is one of the coolest old world buildings with the Phoenician shell, rounded bay window, and all the, you know, the embellishments on it. But in such a tiny, narrow, skinny little building. And then there's one like this up at Edmonton as well that's just as skinny. I think it's 3 floors as well. But it's even more embellished. There's that leaded glass transom windows above these doorways. And the 10-year-old boy's ghost is seen, I guess, in one of these windows. They didn't specify which one. Well, and that's the thing, is thank goodness they didn't knock down. Well, actually, there were plans actually to knock down that old King Eddie. But because it was a famous blues bar on the main floor, the hotel was kind of one of those crappy flea bag hotels. By about the 80s, 90s, it just turned into they basically, and this will be a familiar story to Cousin Vinny, but they basically kept the hotel so they could have the bar. But there were some famous musicians that played at that blues bar. Canadian blues legend Jeff Healey, he played there. Buddy Guys played there. Freddie King played there. A lot of famous blues musicians played there. So, yeah, there was a big uproar when people caught wind that they were going to knock it down. So at least they didn't knock down the old King Eddie, but they built that ugly Borg thing around it. But yeah, this thing's just a beauty. I mean, look at all this. I mean, it's nothing like seeing it IRL. You know what I mean? Like when I did the boots on the ground video. I mean, there's like 6 blocks where it's all, you know, most of these old buildings. Supposedly, you know, built after the Great Calgary Fire when they said, oh, no, we can't build out of wood anymore now. Now we got to start building out of brick and stone, right? That same old story that you hear about every other city. This place here, no, Speaking of fires, I think it was this place. Or was it? No, it was the next one. This place. One of these places, this one or this one, they were building it. It caught fire during construction, burnt down. They built it up again, and then it caught fire again, but then it didn't burn down the second time. They were able to put the fire out. It's like, wow, somebody didn't want that building going up for whatever reason. Yeah, that's right. Bed bugs are us. That's basically what it was. But the blues club was hopping, man. Like if you like, the Chicago style electric blues, that place was hopping. We used to sneak in there. I was still a teenager, underage. You got to be 18 in Alberta to enter an establishment, a liquor establishment. No minors. In Alberta, you got to be 18. I remember like 16, 17, trying to sneak in there a couple times. I think I was only successful once because I looked pretty young. When I was like 16, 17, I looked like I was 12. So you might be able to slide in and sit down, but as soon as the waiter or waitress comes over to take your drink order and looks at you, that's it. That's it. You're out of there. Shut it down immediately. Out the door you go. So spooky? Yeah, kind of spooky. Not really fun. I mean, I don't know. Some of those stories were more macabre than fun and frightening. I mean, Halloween is what you make it. I saw earlier in the chat, somebody was asking me, like, where does Halloween even come from? It was during the vintage footage video. I don't know. Doesn't it come from some old-timey, something to do with chasing away evil spirits or something? That's why people would, I don't know, wear scary costumes it was to scare away evil spirits. It would seem to me if it was an evil spirit, it would be able to tell, oh, that's just Bill. He's just put a blanket over his head and cut some eye holes out of it, and he's got some chains, and he's making oogie boogly boogly sounds. Like that's you're not fooling me. But be that as it may. Well, OG, his story beats, by the way. Howdy, welcome. Says Halloween is satanic as it gets. Well, celebrating, occulted stuff to do with the dead. Yeah, I would say so. But I mean, if you got a kid and the kid dresses up as a Power Ranger and they go door to door to get some sweet treats, then that's pretty far removed from them and actively participating, even being, an unconscious affirmative participant. I mean, come on. But in the earlier days, I think Halloween was much different than it's been here since it was just like everything else. It's just been commercialized, right? Like Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter. I mean, you name it, insert holiday here. And it's just been commercialized, right? It's become a business. So you could sell your pumpkin t-shirts and your pumpkin spice lattes. When I was a kid, Halloween was just about, it's spooky. Yeah, well, where does Halloween come from? And yeah, like none of us really knew. Not the true story, anyways. Not the, what it's originally based on. Vaughn says in Eastern countries and South America, masks are for channeling. Yeah, like a lot of shaman or holy men, tribal holy men. What they would call witch doctors and so on and so forth. tonight's World Hallows Eve was meant to honor the death, not to go out and get candy or get scared. Well, yeah, that's right. Well, it's like the Day of the Dead, right? November 1st is All Saints Day. Yeah. Halloween. And it was the hollows. What are hollows? Like hallowed ground, right? So it was like holy ground. So you would go to honor, I don't know, the dead, your past. You'd give homage to your, or as we All right, hello. Can anybody hear me? Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Kathy Childers in the box 5x5. PCS World says yes. Wiley says yes. Vaughn, you hear me? Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you for sticking with me, folks. I don't know what happened there. I have absolutely no idea. So then I immediately went into panic mode. You know, when you're like, oh no, and you're just looking around aimlessly at random things in front of you. So then I thought, well, let me get on my phone. Let me just get on my phone. Because I tried typing, you know, in the chat, in the box, the technical difficulties, but I don't think that went through. Oh, it did go through. Okay, so you may have seen me type in technical difficulties. It just all of a sudden, I was getting the wheel, you know, in my panic, I took my glove off, but you know, the wheel. I was getting that on because I have a split screen, right? So I have YouTube on one screen and I have the StreamYard on the other screen. So I was getting the wheel on the StreamYard and on the HooTubes. Now, normally the HooTubes, sometimes you get the wheel, right? Because they don't like something, but StreamYard keeps going. And Rumble will keep going. But not the case here. Everything's shut down. So I'm just checking. I'm still live on YouTube. Okay. So welcome back, everybody. Thank you. Thank you very much for your patience. I do not have an explanation for that at all. I have a fairly newish desktop computer that's I just recently added memory and speed to it. And I just recently also renewed my subscription to StreamYard, and all of that was fine. So I do not know. I do not know what that was all about. But thank you very much for your patience. I don't know. Maybe it was a ghost or something. So yeah, I appreciate sticking with me. I was actually just getting ready to wind it down anyways, but that's frustrating. But anyways, yeah, I couldn't even get on my phone. I opened the HooTube apps, you know, and I go into the studio, and I'm expecting just to hit content and just jump onto the live stream chat at least and just say, oh, sorry, everybody. Don't know what happened. But I couldn't even do that. Like, I don't know how to do that, is what I should say. I'm sure there's a way that you can jump into the chat of your own live stream on your handheld device, but I'll be damned if I know how to do that, because I tried it several times. I'm like, wait, maybe if I try this, no, this, no, this. So I don't know. Anyways, weird, very, very strange. It's, well, you know, Halloween is coming, so.
Happy, happy Halloween, 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 happy, happy Halloween too.
Ah, shut up. Maybe AI are the ghosts. Yeah. You know, hardly anything these days would shock or surprise me, or at least not hold me in suspense for too long, anyways. So, yeah, I don't know what that was, but with that said, I mean, hey, that's like I said, I was getting ready to wind it down anyways. So, as a reminder, links below for everything we covered, the CalgaryHerald.com and the Calgary Guardian with the haunted places in Calgary. Each one of those lists had a couple of different places on them. Some of them duplicates, but that's fine. The other link is the Wikipedia for Fort Calgary for the Dean House, as well New West Reset location map. I almost said relocation map, but some of these houses were relocated into Heritage Park, and they're still haunted. So the ghosts had to pack their bags and move with the house. Anyways, BitChute, Rumble, MeWe, a guy's email, PayPal, everything in the links below. So once again, thank you very much for joining me here, Frankie, at New West Reset and New West Reset Live, episode 89, the Halloween special, the Haunted Calgary stuff. So thank you very much once again for joining me. As a reminder, Wednesday, vintage footage, Halloween themed as well. And then we'll see you back here Friday for Boots on the Ground. And next Sunday, another live show. Upcoming projects on the channel. Recently came back from a road trip with Cousin Vinny to High River. That's about an hour boot on the ground video that I'll do as a premiere coming up in the next couple of weeks. So keep your ocular sphericals like these things here locked onto the channel, and keep your eyes open for that. As well, working on a couple of other projects that you soon shall be revealed. Let's just keep it at that. And as winter approaches, don't worry. Unlike the Postal Service, it doesn't matter if there's rain or snow out there. Boots on the ground. Howdy, Mr. Beast fan. Thanks for shooting in. So yeah, with that, that is going to seal the deal here tonight for Frankie. Oh, no, wait. You know what? No, I want to leave this off on a positive. I want to leave it off on a positive. I'm going to share something with you that was shared with me, speaking of emails and whatnot. This is just a, we're saying, it's either frightening or fun, but nothing that we heard was really sounding all that fun with those ghost stories. This is fun. Kathy shared this with me. This is, I think I'm going to have to mute it though, because of the song, but this is people dressing their dogs up in Halloween costumes. Yeah. You just mute it. Come on, man. That is hilarious and cute as hell. And the dogs love it. It looks to me like the dogs are loving it. Come on, even that big dog, even that golden lab is just like, yeah, great. But the tiny dogs just get a kick out of it the most, I think. Either that or they just look the cutest. I don't know what it is. Oh, dear Lord, that one's a little frightening. Imagine that coming at you and you're not expecting it. Oh, what is that? Oh, hi, Nana. Time for tea? Anyway, there you go. Oh, I was laughing so hard I choked on my own spit. Yeah, pretty funny stuff. I got to tell you, that's pretty funny. All right. So there you go. So now we're done for the night. That's going to seal the deal here tonight, Frankie and New West Reset. So thanks, everybody. Really appreciate it. We'll see you same time next week. So until the next one, take care out there and have yourselves a good one. All right, everyone? Thanks a lot. And have a happy and safe Halloween. If you got some little ones, have a fun Halloween and have a good time. Take care. Cheers.
It's a mystery. It's a mystery wrapped in a riddle inside an enigma.